the end of the day, you look up and down the Hudson, and all you'll see are high rises.
Don't let this happen to Yonkers!
Okay, who we represent? I'm Mary Cotty. I'm the task force manager for RidgeHill Development. And maybe just go around and say.
Chuck Lesnick, Yonkers City Council President, one of the two Yonkers representatives.
Ron Rock, consultant in government affairs and all.
Mary Jane Shimsky. I'm the alternate representative for Hastings on Hudson.
Michael Holden, our city.
Mike McGloin, Hastings on Hudson.
Dee Barbados, the council, Yonkers.
Bill Johnson, president of the Spring Lake Council Facilitation.
I'm Carrie Gardner. I am alternate for maybe the de facto Greenberg representative.
Okay, I just want to kind of lay out at the front. I mean, the purpose of the meeting is to have a discussion among the task force members and see if we can reach a consensus on where we're going to head from here. So I think the easiest way and the best way to move forward is to just have the people that are on the task force actually have a discussion. Everybody in the room is certainly more than welcome to listen to the discussion and bring up any issues afterwards. But I think to keep the meeting moving and to talk about where we are, I think it's best just to keep the discussion to the task force members. So, I've had many meetings with many of you. I've seen them before, and we've been trying to get input. And I'm going to talk about going forward, how we're going to, number one, get on our schedule exactly for the next 3 or 4 months, what the meeting schedule is going to be for the task force, and then talk generally about how we're going to go to some of the other communities and get more public input into the process. So that's kind of the main purpose of the meeting. The first goal of the task force was to come to a consensus on what we're actually looking for. I think we have a tough road ahead of us. The sooner that we get on board and come up with a comprehensive plan to deal with some of the traffic issues, the better off it can be. The first thing I want to do, starting out, is kind of bring you up to speed on where I am with the county and the state. The state government, the governor did the state of the state. He didn't do anything basically with transportation. He talked a lot about a lot of other issues, including a big recreational issue with the Pixie Bridge. So I think some of the stuff we're talking about doing with the ramps and recreation in terms of the reservoir are kind of right on target with some of what he's doing on his recreational aspects. The budget that the governor came up with kept the levy levels of the Department of Transportation at their highest levels ever. However, because of construction inflation, they're actually going to have to cut back on their program. So I don't think there's any room within the existing program to actually fit any new projects and new proposals in. However, one of the things that we're really working on is going forward that even though this is not really transportation year in the governor's budget, everybody I spoke to in Albany, including our local representatives and the kind of transportation leadership in Albany, it's kind of next year is going to be the year when they actually extend the program. So I think we're in good shape if we start now to really put something forward that really helps not just our RidgeHill project, which is the purpose of the task force, but the entire Hudson Valley. And a lot of what I've looked at and a lot of statistics and things that we've come up with shows Hudson Valley is this really growing region. It benefits from the fact that it's really growing. The negative part of it is that it doesn't get the same kind of treatment right now that like upstate. The government came up with $1 billion program for upstate because yes, the bill goes to encourage development. Down here, the market is encouraging development, so we have to kind of pull some of the money back into this region. Actually, one of the first things I thought of was to give $1 billion economic stimulus package. Maybe that was a place we could pull this money from, but I think that's not going to happen. I think it's going to have to go into really looking at what are we going to do to fund transportation moving forward. But we're not too early in this process because one of the things that I've been working with DOT on is how long does it take to develop a project like the ramp, and it takes like 4 to 7 years. Most of the projects in the downstate usually take 7 years to develop. So it's kind of, I mean, we got to get this done now if we want it funded in the next regime of highway funding. The commissioner is doing, Ashley Glenn, who's the commissioner of DOT, is doing a big, she's doing a statewide, actually, turn on how to fund transportation across the whole state. She's going to have a forum in Poughkeepsie. That's her forum for the Hudson Valley. It's going to be in Poughkeepsie on February 29th. She's actually invited me to be on her roundtable to talk about what needs to be done. So I kind of feel like I want to accelerate what we're doing because I think I have a unique opportunity to really bring up what needs to be done transportation-wise. And then by the end of March, she's going to present to the legislature an overall plan for transportation in the state. She's presented a 20-year needs study that's huge, but it's statewide. But by the end of March, she's going to come up with what her needs are for this particular region. So I think between her having her forum at the end of the month and then presenting to the legislature at the end